Happy Monday, everybody. We are back for another Monday Miracle, where we're talking about some wins recently in the office, and this week we are talking all about transitions. Okay, transitions are some of the things that most kids in the office are struggling with. And with it being the beginning of October, we're about a month or so into the school year, which is probably one of the biggest transitions that these kiddos are going to have to go through. And so I wanted to get on here and for this week share some wins that we've had from a handful of different kiddos as we've been doing some of our progress exams and hearing back from teachers now and hearing back from parents as well. And so the first one, it was actually kind of funny. He just started first grade, and when Dad filled out the progress report, he said, this wasn't necessarily one of our big goals, but the entry into first grade has gone great. We're working on some things like improved sleep. We're working on things like less big emotions and less outbursts. But all of that kind of ties into the fact that when he entered first grade, it was not as big of a transition. And, they even were on a long vacation right before, so they were a little bit worried. And typically the transition back into school has always been, a little bit bumpy is what Dad described it. But for this one, everything was kind of smooth sailing, assisted in the transition, allowed him to focus better, getting good reports from school, which are all really, really awesome things. Okay. Now the second one is a kiddo who anxiety for school has been a huge thing. Lots of tears in the morning, and so of course that is usually amplified when during the summer you haven't had to worry about that. And then when you go back to school, now all of a sudden every day. And there were quite a bit of school refusals. There were tears at drop-off. And this year there has been 0 times that there has been tears at drop-off, which is absolutely amazing. And not only that, but Mom says he's feeling just more comfortable in his own skin, more emotionally stable, and starting to make some friends, which is a big thing too, right? This is a kiddo that was very introverted, still, of course, always probably will be, right? But is able to express himself a little bit more. And Mom was like, I don't know that he's ever going to be out there just, making all of these conversations and connections. But now, when kids will come up to him, he's able to engage. He's able to have those conversations, as opposed to previously, he may or may not have even responded. And so just absolutely awesome. The vagus nerve, which we're going to talk about, is so responsible when it comes to emotional regulation, when it comes to social engagement. And so when we are improving the function, what's called vagal tone, improving the function of the vagus nerve, all of a sudden now these things all start to come back online. And then this last one. This one is a big one because we talked about the kind of beginning of the school year open house. And for this kiddo, there were some sensory struggles, there was some anxiousness kind of going on, and Mom would have to let the teachers know that, he didn't really like to be called on. He would take a little bit to get comfortable and open up in the classroom. And this year, he's doing so well that she didn't even feel like that was necessary, right? And he's doing amazing. The open house. Last year, they had to have more of a private one-on-one meeting with his teacher because he was too overwhelmed to go into kind of the, big, busy open house format where everyone's going into the school and meeting teachers and seeing friends. And this year, there was absolutely no issue navigating the school and the chaos and all of that type of stuff. And so when we talk transitions, right, it is can be a difficult time for kids. And what we see over and over again is that when there is stress stuck in that nervous system, we have these 2 different sides of our nervous system. We've got our sympathetic, which is more of the kind of fight or flight, stress, go, go, go mode. And we've got our parasympathetic, which is more of the calming, resting, regulating, sleeping, growth and development side of the nervous system. And so we really want there to be an even balance. When I just simply say them, we talk about stress mode as being a negative thing because what we see with so many of these kiddos is that they're stuck in it, right? So when you're stuck in stress mode, any new transition or oftentimes sensory struggles are going to be more irritating, right? And no different than if I was really stressed and then I had to deal with a big new transition, that might even be a little difficult for us to handle as well. So for these kiddos who are just constantly in stress mode, these transitions are really hard for them, and school is obviously a huge difference when it comes to the transition and the changes and new people and new surroundings and new everything, right? So when we get these kiddos out of stress mode, out of sympathetic dominance, and we improve their vagal tone, improve the parasympathetic nervous system, get more balance overall, all these things become a whole lot easier. So if that sounds like something that your kiddo could use some help in, send us a message. We'd love to help. Have a great week.